Hey guys, it's Ben. It's Monday now. The weather's being really temperamental. It can't decide whether it wants to rain or not. Anyway, um, I think for today's video, I was kind of continuing a little bit of what I was talking about yesterday, but slightly different. Generally, like I was saying yesterday, generally I find that the first three seasons of a show tend to be my favorite part of the show. It's usually, most shows nowadays, it's like that's when they've kind of found their rhythm. Um, I remember growing up, it was never really like that for me with shows like in the 90s and all that. Like usually, yeah, I'm one of those guys, like I hate rewatching a pilot episode for a lot of these shows, because the characters are all like the actors are still kind of finding what they want to do with the characters. The writers are still figuring out what they're doing. It's like it always looks like a completely different animal. um, so one of my favorite shows that I'm currently binge watching, because that's my thing. I'm a binge watcher. If I watch a show, I can't just like watch a couple episodes and be fine and go on to another show anymore. Streaming's ruined me for that. I'm like, I like to see something to its completion. Um, Unless, of course, the ending is very sad, in which case I usually don't. I'll watch the ending like once or twice, and if it's really sad, I don't keep watching it. Because it's like part of what I love about TV shows compared to movies is the fact that there's the adventure, technically it doesn't end. You know what I mean? It's like each episode has its own arc, each episode has its own conclusion, but it keeps going, and that's blatantly obvious. But Archer, Archer, Archer is one of my favorite shows. I've been binge watching it again recently and thinking about this pattern that I sort of have with it, and I find that with Archer, it's very weird because like Archer I felt like it kept its strength up well through season 5, I would say. Season 5, of course, for those of you who don't really know much about Archer, the way it worked was, it's a satire about James Bond and secret agent stories, kind of in this mishmash of different time periods, all kind of in the same. How do I put that? It's like they took a bunch of elements of different time periods in America, and they just kind of combined them together to make it extra funny. And I found that really the jokes were fresh and new, and even they always pushed the limits, but at the same time they did it in a way that was intelligent and it was funny. And I remembered reading about the creator, who also does the voice of Ray on the show, and he was saying how the whole thing was he felt like he had kind of spent his best. He felt like he had given the secret agent run a good try, and he was just kind of starting to run short on ideas for it or anything fresh for it. And so that's when he created the whole Archer Vice thing. And that was season 5. And then from there, each season after that has been kind of different than the last. Like, he's been reinventing the show with each season in an effort to keep it fresh. And it's like, it kind of works, but it also, like, it's when we start getting into repeat jokes that I start the initial, I guess, high from the show kind of goes down around that point for me, because, you know, it just tells me, like, okay, like, you were really struggling to come up with something new for this, so you just decided to kind of, you know, throw out an oldie but a goodie. But it's like, you throw out the same joke enough, it's not going to be funny anymore. It's just going to be, it's going to be kind of annoying, you know. I think I like Adam McKay. I like Adam's. I almost said Adam McKay. I'm sorry. Wrong. Totally wrong guy. No, the creator of this, I feel like it was kind of an interesting idea to play with, but in this kind of a setting with a TV show like this, and you know, this is normally something you'd expect from like really independent underground stuff, but it's like it kind of works. It has its fun parts, like you know, reinventing the style and the theme of the show. It works in a lot of ways, but season 6 of Archer was just kind of that was pitiful. It was when they kind of decided, okay, well, we're gonna go back to the secret agent thing, but a lot of the jokes were just really stale. A lot of the plot lines were I guess I would say a little lackluster. But I mean, for the most part, like, I love the characters enough. Like, the characters are so well established at this point. It's like, it doesn't matter if the future seasons are kind of it's like, I still want to find out what happens. So, you know, never underestimate the value of good characters and good character development, because even if future plot lines they're in can suck, you know, at least you know, there's enough of an investment there to keep people going for a while. I think I think the most interesting little revitalization he did was the last 2 seasons of Archer, when Archer's he's in a coma, and you're essentially seeing all the characters on the show being played out in kind of different roles in his dreams. And it works because it works it goes in with the tone of what you think that character would be dreaming of. And it also works perfectly with the concept of the satire, because, as you know, each episode of Archer kind of makes fun of some piece of art or media. A lot of it is books. A lot of it is books I haven't even read, but I still find the jokes funny. Yeah, I just think it's kind of a strange pattern how it's like everybody seems to really have the energy in the beginning of these shows, and it's like, especially once you hit season 2 and 3, that's when they like they really hit their marks. Like, everything's well crafted. You know, the storylines always, you know, have something unique to bring to the table. And then that's when, like, once you get to season 4 and 5, things start kind of tapering off or kind of going down a little. Archer, like I said, kind of a rare slight difference there in that the creator's trying to do things to keep it fresh, but I still think that some of the choices, it's like I think really what it boils down to is he was thinking about it a lot from this perspective of I'm just gonna do satire based on this genre, whatever. And like, he did cherry pick a couple other genres, but it was like, I feel like there's still more room to play there. You don't need to make every joke relevant to the James Bond scenario, and you don't need to make every joke kind of what's the best way I'd put that? Well, first of all, the biggest thing is like I am glad that they kind of toned back on some of the in-your-face stuff, just because it was a little exhausting. But at the same time, there's points where it's getting a little too serious, and I feel like in a satire show, when it gets serious, that it never reads right to me. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So this was my second little part of just me and my observing of trends, particularly with writing in media. I'm probably going to talk about the same thing tomorrow, maybe use a different example. Probably. I don't want to make too many, I don't want to establish that right off the bat, because there may be something else I want to talk about tomorrow. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me again, guys. Once again, Outlaw Nights, our 48-page comic book / graphic novel. The first issue, and what we will hope will be a 6-issue miniseries, maybe longer than that, is going to be coming to Indiegogo on September 24th. So be on the lookout for that. Check out the email page in the description below. And I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much.